Ladies and gentlemen, now we head on to our next session, which is Elevate Your Business with AI-driven digital marketing, tools, tricks, and techniques. I would now like to welcome on stage our moderator, Uma Venkatraman. Can we have a round of applause to welcome? And our speaker, Mr. David Appasamy, for our next informative session. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, everybody. So this is promising to be an exciting session. I was pretty excited to conduct this. I hope the same goes for all of you. I have with me Mr. David Appasamy, who is Director Strategy and Brand of Social Beat. But what is more interesting is he transcends, or he has transited from both the era where we had physical ways of marketing through advertising, communication, mailers, to the digital era. And he's got tremendous experience in various forms of digital communication, practical tools, practical AI tools. We'll be discussing quite a few today. He's also on several committees. He's been part of the internal, the internet governance related discussions, standards on various committees, including some UN committees as well. So I'll not come between him and you. Briefly about me, I'm Uma. I'm the co-founder of Ixsight, which also works on several exciting areas, including real-time screening, credit scoring using AI. So let's get started. Welcome.
Thank you, Uma, and I'm delighted to be here and to share whatever learnings we have with all of you. And I thank Sriram of Integra for inviting me and giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, so we need to play that first. We'll start with the question. Okay, so, I thought we'll start with the video, but he says wait. So here's the first question. So he's been telling me about all the exciting tools that they use, and something that even his wife, who runs a probiotic brand, she's 60 plus and she uses. So what are the kind of tools that you would like to tell us about, and something that our audience can also go back and start implementing?
Thank you, Uma. I think before we go there, I think it would be good to demonstrate to you what AI can do using different tools that are available for marketing. So I'd like to demonstrate that by playing a video. Can we have the video, please?
Hello, everyone. Ever since the launch of ChatGPT in November 2022, there has been a high degree of hype around AI and what it can do for businesses to scale. And on the negative side, what jobs it will eliminate. A lot of it has been driven by irrational expectations or irrational fears. Then began the serious business of making sure AI can help us work faster and more efficiently. Google launched Bard, now called Gemini, and Microsoft launched Copilot for its search engine, Bing. Microsoft also announced that it will be incorporating AI into its Windows software to make it faster and more efficient. Google is also working to make their Google Suite faster and more efficient with the use of AI. These are embedded by the big players and will become mainstream as we use them every day to work. What is of interest to us, however, is AI applications, or tools that we, as small businesses, can use to enhance our speed and productivity to grow our business. Fortunately, a number of smaller companies have launched tools to enhance the speed and efficiency of specific tasks that address the needs of small businesses. ChatGPT itself has grown into a great research tool, and for generating content for blogs, posts, or video texts. While the tool can produce 70% of the content, the final shaping has still to be done to give it the right flow, perspective, and personalization. There are many such apps or tools being launched every day. But to make it easier for you, I have selected a few that we use at our company that increases the speed and efficiency of multiple tasks, which I can share with you. It is up to you to explore them and incorporate what you can based on your specific needs to grow your business. All the very best.
So that is an AI-generated avatar of myself talking to you. And it was done in about half an hour. But as you can see, there's a reason it's called artificial intelligence. It cannot be me. While it has picked up my tone, it has not yet picked up my accent. And if I input more video content of myself talking and then put in texts for a longer video, it'll sound just like me. It keeps learning all the time. Now imagine what this can do to speed up your processes for even producing a video. There's no great shoot time involved in all of that. Using your phone, if you shoot yourself, and you can talk about anything, what you had for breakfast, you know, what the sunrise was like this morning, it just needs to capture your expressions and the way you use your hands. And then when you put in a text, it'll generate the video. So that was one use case.
Tremendous. Could anybody guess it was a generated video and not a recorded one? Anybody here? 3 of you, 4 of you, you all knew it. He told you about it, but I think that was fantastic. Now we'll go to the next part of the discussion. He's going to show us some of the tools that we can actually use. Named tools and how it works and how you can use it. So, yeah, can we go ahead?
Yeah. Could we start the slide presentation, please? Yeah, we're talking about marketing, right? So call this business growth powered by AI. Next slide. Yeah, these are some of the tools that you can use. ChatGPT, of course, and you're all quite familiar with it. ChatGPT has now advanced to a stage where if it doesn't understand the input, what you're asking it to generate, it will ask you questions, and by your answers, it'll learn. So you don't have to worry about whether it understands your kind of IT product or service. It is quite advanced already. And you can use it to generate, for example, a month's calendar on LinkedIn for you in terms of the kind of posts and reels you need to use to increase your follower base. Isn't that amazing? You can do it for yourself. Then, of course, you have to create those posts, but we'll come to that. Then we have the next lot, that's actually Picasso, by the way. It's Picasso, it's Ideogram, and DaVinci.ai. These are all tools, again, that you can use to generate both video and text, video or posts, so that you can put it on LinkedIn. And I'll be showing you examples. And the third is, I can barely see it from on the, yeah, Pika Labs, Moon Valley, and Steve.ai. Steve.ai will blow your mind. And I will show details as we go along. Next slide, please. These are the inputs that you need, right? It's as simple as text, maybe captions, ideas, image copies, scripts, the strategy that you want to use. These are very simple. They're basically your thoughts that are going in text form. You don't even have to upload pictures. When it comes to posts, you might want to use static visuals, especially if you have visuals of screenshots or visuals of your product, if it's a software that appears in a box, and things like that. And the third is reels or videos that you need to use. For example, to generate the AI video, that avatar that you saw, we shot a 3-minute video of myself talking about just about anything. And it understood who I was and captured my tone of voice. I have a very neutral accent. So I think it got flowed when it came to my accent. It's very good at picking up different kind of accents, which either Western or Asian or Oriental. Mine is somewhere in between. So it used a Western accent for myself. So Next slide, please. So the text model, move on. First example is ChatGPT. Can you all read the prompt? It's about having a month's posting calendar on LinkedIn. And it's about what you want to do and engaging posts and reels for the next 1 month. A calendar with what to say. Next slide, please. And it will give you not only the calendar, it will tell you that to increase your followers by a certain number, these are the kind of posts you need to do and generate a calendar for you. Now, this is not the gospel truth, remember. It is artificial intelligence. So you do need to look at it, and you need to moderate it in terms of how well you understand your customer. It's going entirely based on the inputs you've given it. So the quality of inputs that you give will determine the quality of output. It is only an algorithm. It is not replacing you. So you have to have oversight. So that's one text model. Next slide, please. So when it comes to images, next slide. This is what I said. It's not Picasso, it is Picasa with a double C-A-S-O. Now, on top you can see a text input, which says basically 40-year-old Caucasian male celebrating a success.
Okay.
And then you roughly draw what kind of form that you want, and it generates a person. You can therefore use that in a post to say, you know, I use so-and-so product and increase my business efficiencies by 25% or whatever. And he's celebrating that success.
Do you need to draw that? Do you need to draw as well?
Just the rough thing on the left.
Okay.
Which you can do with your mouse, you know.
Mouse.
That's not even a stick figure. It's just scratches.
Okay.
And it replaces it on this side. It's as simple as that to generate a picture. Next slide, please. Now, this is mind-blowing. Ideogram, the input was an IT product company called ProWorks. Please create a logo. Those are AI-generated logos for ProWorks. And they produce, when you take this out of ideogram, it gives you a vector image. That means print quality. You can create any number of logos you want in seconds using an input like that.
Yeah, I just want to add, I've tried logo.ai, and in fact, we have used, it's not up here as my company logo, but we have used it for one of our brands. And it gives you so much in fonts and so much in logos beyond a structured output. It's fabulous.
So this is just to give an idea of the kind of tools that are available already. And they're quite advanced. And in our company, I'm a partner in a digital marketing company. We use these tools to speed up our processes. We will have human intervention at the end to fine-tune, right? But 80% of the heavy lifting is done because we use ChatGPT as a research tool. We use Picasa to produce images, which we can then fine-tune. We can use ideogram to look at options for logos. They may need to be fine-tuned, no doubt, but these are pretty good as it is, except maybe the third one. But the second one from the left is almost ready to use. It's as good as that. Could we have the next slide, please? So this is when it gets really interesting. You can't see the image. Click again. Yeah. This is for Brigade Xanadu, where we had one of the directors of the company welcoming new buyers to the Xanadu layout. Okay? Now, we just had to have a brief video of him, and the rest was text fed into, in this case, it was GAN.ai, which produced the video. Much like you saw my video, that was produced on Hagen.ai. So there are lots of tools like this that you can use. And your next question would probably be, how much do these cost? There are free versions. And we've used the free versions. Costs range from, say, $2.5 for a single use case to maybe $15 to $20 for a subscription on a monthly basis, or $70 to $180 for the year, depending on the platform. These are not terribly expensive, and they're available for you to use. Next slide, please. Steve.ai. This is the one that I told you about that is absolutely mind-blowing. You can use any form of input to generate a video on Steve.ai. Of course, yourself speaking, that's possible. But you can do text to video. You can just put in a text and say, create a video using animation of a person talking. And it will have the text done by an animated character doing the speech. So you can have a demo video, or you can have a how-to video, how to use your product, done using an animated character, but just feeding in text into Steve.ai. You can do blog to video. You can do URL to video. I mean, the possibilities are endless on Steve.ai.
You can do the demo in different languages?
You can do the demo in different languages.
Okay.
So this is something you must check out. And I think Steve.ai is the one which talks about $2.5 per use case even. The use cases that you can use are multiple, and it simplifies your life entirely. Next slide, please. Voice models. 11 labs, you can either put in text or you can put in your voice recording. It'll create a podcast. As simple as that. Imagine putting in text and getting a podcast. You can put down your thoughts entirely and feed in the text into 11 labs, and you can get a podcast. Next, please. You can generate human-like voiceovers. It need not be your voice alone to create these podcasts. Next slide, please. And you can have audio podcasts on Spotify that you can target at particular kind of audiences in the US, for example, where you can talk about your product or your service and how it is revolutionizing the way that large companies do certain specific tasks. So these are some of the tools that I picked up in the last few days that you could possibly use. There are many more out there. I understand there's something like 8 to 20 being launched every day. So I think if you are looking for a particular use case and you search, you will find them. There are many more out there, but these are just some of them that we use that we thought may be of use to you.
Yes, thank you. I think that was very, very enlightening. When we hear him, he's not just talking about marketing tools, but he's also talking about sales tools, creating demos, creating podcasts, which goes beyond just advertising material. We have the next question for him. A lot of you out here must be ITES companies, product companies, whose markets are overseas. You probably attend a lot of networking programs, conferences to do your marketing. So my question to David is, for this audience here, how should they approach their marketing? What platform should they use? What would be ideal for them?
Yeah, thank you, Uma. Yeah. That's a very, very focused question. How many of you, let me not point towards the answer. What platform do you think you should use? Which should be your primary platform for marketing to the US? LinkedIn. Okay, I've got news for you. Yes, we will use LinkedIn, but your primary platform is your website. It is your hub on the internet. How good is your website should be your first focus. And your website should be intuitive, very easy to use, very simple, and it should be able to demo your product right at the get-go so that people coming there get what it is all about and actually try it out. If you want to know what I mean, you can check out Freshworks' website. they've just incorporated an AI-enabled chatbot that you can check out right there. Simple, easy to use. And if you go through it, how convincing it is in terms of somebody actually trying out the product. And these are, enormous success stories. You know that they began in a very small way as well, much like your companies. So also Zoho, which has been around for a long time. And it's a very well-established company. Check out their website. Very simple, very minimal, but you get all the information that you need. So that's one. Second is deep content on your website. Blog, a video gallery, all of it SEO enabled. And the more content that you put out there onto your website, the more discoverable it becomes. The more people can find what they're looking for. And what you need to do is SEO enable it based on the search queries for the kind of product or service that your prospects are looking for. You need to be the primary source of their answer on the internet. So this should be your primary focus, where you need to spend an enormous amount of your time to ensure you have the right content and that it is constantly being added to. Now, mind you, you could be doing demo videos on steve.ai with an avatar talking about your product, but it's there. And then you can SEO enable it in the description of the video. So this you need to be able to do in a very, very focused way. Only then do we come to LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn for you is a funnel to bring people to your website. And what we need to do on LinkedIn is to have posts which are not just picture posts that talk about the product, but posts that add value to the knowledge of those who are your target audience, your prospects. So you need to be able to create content on your website, on your blog, which answers the kind of things that they're looking for, or which addresses the pain points, and then post those on LinkedIn. So when they click on it, they come back to your blog. And it should be presented in a way that's what we call snackable, which is not long content, but broken up into short, easily digestible pieces of information, embedded with infographics, embedded with videos, all that sort of thing, which is very easy for somebody to read. And always, on the right-hand side, you have to have a form filled to capture a lead. This is how you capture organic leads. You promote your content on LinkedIn, and to do that, of course, you'll have to have a budget, but you bring them back to your website, and through the quality of your content, you generate the lead. All right? What you can also do on LinkedIn is to do quick surveys. What are the chief pain points around what you're addressing? And just give, say, 3 or 5 answers they can choose. And that gives you valuable data in terms of what people are looking for you to generate more content. Or with that survey, you can say, to find out what others are looking for, click here. And you can put the content from your previous surveys as content for them to read. They will come there because they want to know. This is how you start building engagement on LinkedIn. Purposefully, intentionally. It's not about advertising, it's not about putting posts, it's about saying, hey, I'm an expert, come to me. And then you will start seeing traction on your website, you'll see traffic going up, you will start generating organic leads. But you need to have a promotional budget. You can also do lead generation on LinkedIn, yes, using content, but promoting it aggressively. But that is going to cost a fair amount of money, because LinkedIn is where you get leads that were really, prospects who are really interested in what you have to say. So LinkedIn will charge you, and we'll come to that when we talk about budgets and so on.
I think that was invaluable advice. I mean, very basics he's been talking about, keeping your audience engaged on LinkedIn, having demos. People are all used to do it yourself. So a lot of the overseas customers like to see a demo. And now with all these Steve.ai, etc., I think it should be much easier. But one question, he's hinting at it. What would be the rough investment that an SME has to make? You can break it down annually or monthly in combining the strategy of what you proposed, subscriptions plus LinkedIn plus the website, or anyone.
Okay, let's talk about budgets from a macro level first. If you look at the CMO Council research of 2021, they have said IT product companies have been spending about 9% of their budget on marketing. 9% of their budget, not revenues. 9% of their budget on marketing, but services companies have been budgeting about 9.6% of their overall budget for marketing. This is CMO Council. Gartner research survey for 2023 says that IT product and services companies have been using about 10%, budgeting about 10% for marketing of their overall budget. Now, this gives you a broad framework, but that doesn't make it the model for you to follow. You need to look at what your turnover is currently, what your growth strategies are, what your growth targets are, and you may want to invest to grow your business, which means you may do a higher percentage, or if you're a more mature organization with a significant amount of billings, you may actually budget less. But the point is, unless you're generating those leads, you're not going to be growing your business. So the other interesting thing the CMO Council found was this 9.6% has grown over the last, say, 5 or 6 years by 5 or 6%. Now, how did people increase their budgets by that much? Maybe it's because of greater efficiency in the organization through automation elsewhere, that they were able to increase their budgets. But to grow a business from an SME to a fairly medium-sized enterprise or large enterprise, there is an investment required. But here is where human oversight comes in. You have to use your judgment. So that's at the broad level. Now, if you ask me on LinkedIn for lead generation, how much is it going to cost? As I said, it is expensive. Very roughly speaking, if you target chief technology officers, chief information officers, and people of that caliber on LinkedIn, there are about 760 to 780,000 of them in the US market. Okay? If you broaden it out and say C level, director level in the US, you will get about 2.2 million. Now, to generate, say, let's talk about chief technology officers. If you want to address them, and through lead generation, where you're aggressively promoting on LinkedIn to generate leads, you would have to invest about $12,000 to $15,000 a month to generate 100 to 120 leads, out of which you might convert 3 to 5 leads. When I say convert, they may not become customers, but you can have active conversations with them. And how many you convert depends upon finally your level of interaction with them. That's the kind of investment it takes. Now, $12,000 to $15,000, we're talking about 9 to 12 lakhs a month. Now, you may not do it throughout the year. You might do it when you know people are making decisions in terms of planning for the next year or optimizing and so on. Or you might do it immediately after collecting a whole lot of cards at, say, an event that you attended in the US and inputting those into LinkedIn, into your targeting, so that there's follow-up from your event. These things are possible, especially if you have their phone numbers and email IDs and so on. But the cost will go up if your base narrows significantly on LinkedIn. That cost per lead, I'm saying. Your investment to reach very qualified audiences is higher as opposed to broader audiences. These are things you can explore. on LinkedIn. Now, that gives you an idea of what lead gen is going to cost you. But if you use your judgment and stay always on LinkedIn, using your content and relying on your website to capture leads, it can cost you less because you're only promoting your posts. The moment you do aggressive lead generation, it goes up. Now, these are things you can experiment with. But once you start doing it, you can't stop. Because if you stop, the algorithm ends there. And when you start again, you start from zero. So let's say there's 1 month, you're spending a lot of money attending 2 or 3 events in the US, and you don't want to spend so much on LinkedIn. You need to spend a base amount to ensure the algorithm continues to keep working. You don't lose what you built up. So these are the kind of learnings that you need to be able to use to ensure that you are building up a pipeline that your sales team can start engaging with and converting. So I hope that gives you a broad idea of how you can go about it in terms of a framework. At the macro level, Gartner says 10% of your overall budget. CMO Council says 9% for product companies, 9.6% for services. You use your judgment depending on where you are on the scale of maturity. If you're early stage, if you're in the middle, if you're a little more mature. And then you work backwards to what can you afford. And therefore prioritize on what you want to do. I hope that gives you an idea of what you can do.
Yeah, I think that's given a very, very, very good idea. And he's covered all the topics. I just want to strengthen what he's saying. So we have been having a lot of discussions on how much we should be spending. So we started doing SEO. I have done it in fits and starts, and then we stop, we get tired. We see the results going up. Then we say, now it will remain in that position. It doesn't. Every day, somebody else is trying to position themselves in the top 10, 20. If you look at Google search results, you'll find they give 50 on the first page. And that also is interspersed with demos. It's interspersed with companies which are actually directories and list all the product names. So you need to make sure you're there on all those directories as well. You create videos as well. You don't give up on SEO. You update the content of your website. You make it sound good with the latest terms. You have the search terms, but you also need to incorporate AI and things like that. Your posts on LinkedIn have to, ultimately, like in the morning, Professor Korvar said, it has to ultimately mean something to the customer. It has to be meaning some success. And you do have to have your company website as well on LinkedIn created well. We are trying to do all of this. We are still getting there, but I can see that it gives results. And many things that he has said, very, very valuable. I would like to take some questions if you have time for a couple of questions or no? One question only, Chair Doctor is saying. So, one question.
Yes, can we have the mic passed right there?
Yeah. Maybe 2 questions, quick questions if it is.
We're conscious of the fact that we're between you and lunch, I think.
Mine is a quick question. So you said 9% or 10% of the budget. What budget? You said it's not revenue. So what budget are you talking
Your overall budget for the next year.
about? Your costs for the next, as a company. Your company's costs.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
One more question he's allowed.
And
Yes, we'll have the mic passed behind. Last question.
Just adding to that, one more data point that may be of help. The CMO Council says a broad. It's not something that's binding. Yardstick for your investment should be, for every dollar that you spend on marketing, you should be able to generate revenues of 5. 1:5.
Hi.
Yes, last question from there.
I'm Ashok. I'm from a company called Clenty. So my question is, we have spent our whole the past couple of years targeting SMBs and mid-market companies. So now we are trying to shift to our lead generation. We are trying to focus it towards enterprise companies. So all the content on our website, it is dedicated to getting 50 to 100 or 150 employees kind of company. So now that we're trying to shift, we are trying to analyze how enterprise decision makers consume content. So do you have any tips there? Because all the leads that we get, we call it single user and ICPs. So all the leads that we get now are currently single users or way below our target. So that is where I have a...
Thank you. That's a very good question. On LinkedIn, the good news is that when you're targeting, you can target by size of company, number of employees, all of that. So you can try out, for example, companies between 50 and say 300 million or 100 million to 1 billion, and you can keep checking out to see where you get more response from. So that's one thing you can do. Then you'll know what your sweet spot is for your particular product or service. The second thing is by designation. So these are things that you can do to be able to figure out where actually your target audience lies, which is your sweet spot. Does that help?
On LinkedIn, you have the option to find the size of the company, the revenue that
exactly,
they make.
that's what I'm saying.
But if you see it from a website point of view, like you said, the website is the platform to show yourself who you are.
Okay, you're talking about what do they want to see? Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of content do enterprise decision makers read and stuff? Yeah.
Another great, the second part of that question is again really good. The content, like Professor Korvar said in the morning, the content should provide some value to your target audience. See, today we're all learning all the time. We're all updating our knowledge all the time. Google calls it the discovery mindset. We spend a lot of time reading online, professionally and of course for leisure, but we're always updating our knowledge, right? Now, prospects are also people like us. They are looking for answers, they're looking for solutions. So provide something that is of value to them, not only in terms of your product or service. It could be, for example, articles which are from a research organization which talks about particular use cases that you are addressing. You can curate that content and put it there. They'll find it interesting, and you can backlink that to your website. Your SEO discoverability will go up. So you need to be able to broad base your content, but always you need to think in a customer-centric manner. What is it those people are looking for which you need to do your SEO analysis. You'll know what the search terms are by those particular kind of people. You start providing content that addresses those kind of search terms. Not just your product or service, but quality content that engages them and increases their knowledge and adds value to them. That's the key. It should be able to add value to your prospect in terms of whatever you're saying about yourself or about the industry or about particular use cases or about the challenges they face and so on and so forth. Or trends in the industry, trends in AI, trends in product development and so on. Okay. Does that help?
Sir,
okay.
One more question.
No. Excuse me, I think you take this offline because I'm getting glare from the side. You can please, he can contact you.
It is more relevant, please. Let me ask this question. Sir, we have learnt a lot from your discussion that AI has changed marketing and all. Can you give some insight about how AI has changed the purchase department?
I am not a specialist in the purchase department.
Okay.
That I think the previous session would have answered those kind of. You can use AI to actually analyze your purchase patterns and look at how you can increase your efficiencies and so on. But I'm not the expert there. My forte is marketing.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such an enlightening and captivating session. Can we have a big round of applause for such an amazing session? May I please request Mr. Bhaskar Verma, NASSCOM Regional Head South, to please join us on stage to present a memento. To our esteemed speakers right here, I would like to thank Ixsight AI for being our session sponsor. A big round of applause. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here and sharing your wisdom with all of us. Thank you.